I am exploring the possibility of opening a family entertainment center, otherwise known as FEC. This channel is all about the party rental business, but I kind of see the FEC as a possible end game for us because we get old and we don't want to do this anymore, but we still kind of know parties and events. So the FEC thing could be a possible end game for a lot of us tent people. So this video is not about tents, it's about FECs. Hello, everyone. I am Adam. I am the tent guy. Yes, I do tents, but I'm looking towards the future and I'm doing some research into, FECs, entertainment. So you're going to see some of that on this channel. Today, I'm here with Kevin. He's been in the industry for a while. He has publications about this. He's done YouTube videos about this. So we're here to learn some stuff with Kevin. How you doing, Kevin?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing, more importantly?
I'm good. It's early for me because it's my off season. So I usually sleep in. And you're in UK. I'm in New York.
Yeah. So morning for you, afternoon for me.
Yes. So Kevin, why don't you just give an introduction to yourself and how you fit into this world of family entertainment centers and attractions and things like that?
Well, first, let me thank you for reaching out to me and offering me this opportunity to speak with you. My name's Kevin Williams. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a specialist in the immersive out-of-home entertainment sector. I come from a background in both amusement, theme parks, simulation, video games, really all the fun stuff. So I started off in the consumer games industry and then moved into military simulation, that simulation that moved into virtual reality. I worked for Walt Disney Imagineering for a period of time. And then from there, I set up a consultancy, which is KWP. KWP is a specialist consultancy. We work with operators, manufacturers of the technology, and investors in that technology to really build. And you say family entertainment centers, but I cover all of the out-of-home entertainment sector. So from theme parks and casino resorts, all the way down to location-based entertainment, family entertainment, amusement, even down to the minutiae of skill gaming and the fitness educational applications of this technology. And as you say, I also publish something called the Stinger Report, which is a scurrilous newsletter that really is an opit of what's happening in the trends and technologies in our sector. And I also write for some of the leading trade publications such as Replay, Vending Times, and those kinds of guys.
Right. Well, I like what you say, out-of-home entertainment, because I've been struggling with that. Me trying to tell people in my life about an FEC, and then I have to say, well, it includes more than just the arcade. It could be go-karts. It could be, a bowling alley with. It's just all these different things. It could be an inflatable bounce house park. It's not just the arcade with the arcade games and tickets and things like that. There's a whole lot more to it.
Sadly, the arcade industry is no longer with us, unless you're opening up a retro arcade or creating an arcade space within your facility. It's the amusement industry, and the industry has moved on. It hasn't died. It hasn't gone away. The 136 Dave and Buster's will prove to you that there is quite an expansive facility. The 500 plus Chuck E. Cheese facilities out there will prove to you that there's an expansive industry, but it is now a cornucopia. It is a multitude of different applications of pay-for-play entertainment rather than going to your mall with the sticky floors and the coffin-shaped illuminated machines.
Right. Yeah. So the big one near me is a bowling alley, bar, restaurant, and like arcade with the tickets and the basketball and also the video games and VR. So yeah, it's not just the arcade where you went and put coins in and that was it. Now it's all those things together.
And I understand how difficult it is for some to migrate from really the perception of the mall arcade to the family entertainment center, because it is quite a transition. It is a vibrant and exploding market. We now have social entertainment added to that. That is the mini golf with scoring systems. We have now the axe throwing. We have the augmented reality darts. We have now Swing Suite, which is the simulator golf and hospitality system. So it's a diverse sector, and it is a little bit dangerous just to focus on the previous heydays.
Right, and you could have a facility that mixes a whole bunch of those things together. I'm seeing, and it's like kind of difficult to pick. Like, what would I want to put in my facility, if and when I have one?
Remember, you're not making a facility for yourself. You're making a facility for yourself to work in and to support and to operate. But really, you need to do the feasibility to understand who your key audience is that you're targeting.
Okay, that's I think a good point to start at then. Like, yeah, I'm coming at it like I would like this, I would like that. All right, so how do we get to the point of doing some research and feasibility of, where do I start to look to determine what should I put in this facility?
Well, you get a good consultant in, he said.
All right.
Put the HTML at the bottom of the screen. No, it is really taking a step back. Most of the clients that I work with that are starting up new family entertainment centers, they've done a little bit of personal evaluation of what audience that they would like to attract, what their catchment is, but they usually get in a company that will then do a minutiae deep dive into who are the audience in the area that you're thinking of building this facility, what is the age group mix, what is the spend mix, what's their per cap, and also what your competitors are in that area. You may think that creating a bounce house is a great idea, but if you've got a trampoline facility down the road, then it's maybe not a good idea to compete directly with them. And then there's the other things that you need to do: feasibility and operational. How big the space is, and really what fits into that space that you have available. It may be nice to think about having a go-kart course, but if you haven't got the 30,000 square, then you're not going to be able to accommodate it.
Right. To people watching, I just want to say, like, he's saying to come in and hire someone when you're first beginning. It seems scary or whatever, but I've learned in my tent business and other businesses that you should really pay for expertise that you don't know how to do. You don't waste the time trying to learn it, because you're never going to be as good as paying someone to come in and do the thing that they're good at, where you can focus on the business and, getting money and making connections and stuff. Pay for the stuff you don't know. Don't be scared of bringing in a consultant.
It's difficult, I understand it, especially for the smaller facilities. They think that they're paying money for stuff that they can learn themselves, or that they think that they already understand. And some of the times when we're working with smaller operations, we'll do it on a case by case, where we'll say, look, we know you don't have vast amounts of money, but we also feel that you need to take a step back and think about what you're developing. You're too close to the flame. And then there's the other possibilities where some people think that they're going to learn all of this themselves. They can walk around a couple of shows, go onto a couple of websites, maybe steal a couple of paragraphs out of the Stinger report, and then suddenly they're an expert. I am not an expert. I'm a specialist. I specialize in a particular aspect of our industry. I introduce our clients to people who specialize in the operations side, which also has a group of individuals that are specialists in that. I introduce them to consultants that work in the food and beverage side, because there are also experts that work in that. Don't be ashamed to get help. But also, if you don't have the big, deep pockets to pay for a consultant, then speak to the consultant and see if they'll be able to help you.
Right. Definitely, guys. Like, I've learned, I made a few mistakes in my businesses trying to learn things, which there's no way I'd learn them in the amount of time that I was giving myself. So I just paid people, and it turned out way better, way better.
Okay.
All right. So take me, day one. I want to open an FEC. Okay. So I find my location, what I think is going to be good. I hire a consultant, because I will hire a consultant to make sure, because as you just said, there's a trampoline park down the street from me, and I was thinking of putting in one of those big inflatable bounce house sections, but that might not be a good idea, because it's directly competing. So, all right. Now I just learned something already today. What's my next step? I gotta find what? I gotta find equipment and POS systems and stuff.
So the first thing we would normally do with what was it, a clean piece of paper approach is, why are you going down this particular path? What makes you think? For let's say that you've come to me, Adam, with this is Adam's house of mouse. This is what I'm going to build. It's a location-based entertainment. It's going to have a bit of this, a bit of that, and a bit of the other. And this is what we want to do. Now, sometimes investors will come to us and say, we have a client that wants to go down this path. It is your job now to break them, to make them not want to develop this concept. So, it's the stress test, as it were. If we're going to give these guys the $3 million to develop this facility, we want to make sure that they're in it for the long run, and that, if they lose an arm, they're still going to keep on plugging. So we would go through your design, we would take it apart, and we would say, why are you going down this path? Why are you going down that path? We would also have to do a feasibility on the location. So you're building this in Chicago, allegedly. We would then tell you about all of the facilities around Chicago that you will be in competition with. Now, just because there's another house of mouse down the road doesn't mean that you can't survive. It doesn't mean that your idea can't succeed in a crowded market, or else then there wouldn't be any Starbucks and there wouldn't be any McDonald's in the world, because they also have to open next door to competing operations. It is about what the offering is that you're proposing to do, and how you're going to be different, or how you're going to make your experience different to the competition, that is key. And then we come to the whole argument about, if this is what we're trying to achieve, what is the market that we're going for? What type of products are we going to put in?
Right. I got a cat here. Just
I
1
know.
second.
We've been watching him or her.
Oh, that one's not talking. It's the one on the
Ah.
floor. I gotta kick him out, and then I'll be right back. All right, so we talked about feasibility and the first steps, but now we gotta get the products, like what we're gonna be offering. What are some different products someone like me could offer?
That's a big ball of string question,
Yeah, I
isn't it?
know. There's a lot. I mean, you don't have
What
to go
what
through
age
all of them.
group are you going for? What competitive facilities do you have? What research have you done into the sophistication of your audience? What is your budget? So who's your audience and what's your budget are the bookends of all of those questions. And
Okay, let's go with me as a case example. My audience is, I don't want to do the young kid soft play playground thing. So my audience, I guess, is going to be young teens to adults. I do want the beer and the food and that kind of stuff. I don't really want axe throwing. That's the only thing I don't want.
Hey, makes good money. I've suddenly cottoned on, Adam. This is a secret plan for you to get free consultancy.
No, not necessarily. This is more so content for my YouTube. And
Oh, no.
Right.
I totally understand. And to your point, I would argue that you'd have to be very careful about what you mean by teens and then young adults, because those two can be kryptonite and Superman against each other. There are problems with that. But so we say that we've nailed it down roughly to the 19, 20, 21s, all the way up to the 30s and 40s kind of mix. Then I would argue that not having axe throwing may be a bit of a hindrance. But so once we know what the F&B is going to be like, we know how much you're going to be depending on private hire, again, drop-in or attendance traffic, then we're going to be looking at an interesting mix, aren't we? We're not going to be looking at some things, so you're not going to have soft play, for example, but there are certain adult entertainment versions of soft play that could work quite well. The laser mazes, the ninja courses can work with adults and alcohol. It has been seen to work. But from current trends at the moment, you're going to be sticking in an amusement sector. You may go for an adult prize and redemption sector. That's something that's bouncing around at the moment. The augmented reality darts, shuffleboard, and all of those fantastic takes on the traditional bar and tavern games, given an injection for the 21st century, are doing the rounds and causing a lot of interest. Virtual reality, of course, people are going to say you've got to have VR, you've got to have either a free roaming or an enclosure system. Again, dependent on your audience, depending on your budget.
Yeah.
Mid-scale attractions is something. We're seeing now the interactive dark rides, which are audience-based shooting enclosure environments, work very well. And then finally, the mainstays. You're going to have to seriously consider having something that's unique to your facility signature attractions. You're going to have to think about maybe bowling or some of the new augmented bowling experiences. And you may want to look at going for something a little bit more unique to your facility. So not just a signature attraction, but an attraction that has been purposely built or developed for your environment. But that is pushing the boat out regarding expense.
Right. Gotcha. All right. So that's the younger adult, or I don't know what to call them,
Yeah.
later teens to adult.
So the older ones are called kidults, and the younger ones are called older teens.
Okay. What about, say, like 12 to 20, and then parents income? Because that's my main experience with FEC, family entertainment, outdoor, out of the house entertainment is it's a big arcade, but it's bowling, and it's got the bar for the parents and the restaurant. There's the ticket redemption games for the kids, which I hate ticket redemption games. But I get them from the point of view of the owner. It's like, fun for the kid.
Yeah, it's kid play. Of course, you can't have redemption without having the prize center, and the prize
Right.
center is full of those, pencil erasers and
Stupid things.
and
I
mid-scale.
have a kid, and he always wants to play the ticket games. I'm like, let's just play the games that are more fun. Like, you're just gonna end up getting a dumb eraser. But I understand that they're needed there.
I'm seeing the new generation of what we would call midway facilities starting up, and they're aiming for a more adult audience. They're getting rid of the prize center, and they're turning them into touch screens. So you go up to the touch screen, you swipe your card. The card now retains all of the redemption tickets, so you're not walking around with buckets of tickets anymore, and you make it more adult. And some facilities have actually gone the extra mile, where the redemption area is turned into a kind of soft casino environment, and those redemption tickets are now discounts on games or discounts on drinks and food, which again, dependent on the state you're in and depending on which platform you're using of the many e-payment facility systems, it can be quite an interesting secondary or tertiary revenue generator.
Right. Speaking of the card system, I was listening to one of your YouTube interviews. I forget the name of it, but it was two other guys, and you were talking about your friend who disliked card payment systems. He only liked tokens, and then he switched over, and then he annoyed you by telling you how great it was.
Yeah.
So let's speak on that. Like, back when I was younger, it was all tokens and tickets, but now it's cards, and that's the way it's moving forward, right? Like,
Yes.
it does seem better to me. And if you charge like $1 for the card, it creates value for the card, so it doesn't get thrown away. They keep the card, they come back, they recharge it. But that all seems very complicated to me. This whole card system and having to set that up and everything. I'm sure it's not. You can get with someone probably.
Embed, Intercard, Seminole. There are so many companies out there that have got systems which are plug and play. They take the friction out. And if you really want to get trendy, if you really want to cut new treads, remove cards altogether. Get people to pay using their mobile phones. Get a system that can be plugged straight in, and then you have an app that is automatically downloaded, and they touch their phone to pay. There's no reason why this should be difficult. And part of the reason why the amusement industry, has been kind of reticent to e-payment, frictionless payment, is because there are benefits from using tokens. There are benefits from using cash that are not always achievable by using a referenced e-payment infrastructure that notes down every payment and keeps a very tight lid on where the business is going. So the three things that you're going to get out of having an e-payment system in your facilities: number one, frictionless. It'll be simple and easy for the guest to pay to play. That's fundamentally what we're here to do. We're not here to make it difficult. We're not here for them to have to calculate how many dollar bills they've got, or how much they want to take off their particular payment infrastructure. We want them to be able to go up to a system, load a card, load an app, load a wristband, and then be able to have a great time eating and playing in the facility, and feel that they're not getting gouged, and they feel that they're having a good time. They want to come back again for more. And all of the systems that are out there, and if any of your watchers need details on the systems that are out there, we can supply them with that. It's also another part of the partnership. The other part of the relationship is not just the e-payment system, but how that marries into the facility operations system. So you can track the payments, and you can see when one machine is more popular than another, or when one machine isn't doing so well, or when you're getting good attendance on a Thursday but bad attendance on a Friday for whatever reason. It also ties into your management and registration system. So someone goes online, books for 4 of them to come, they turn up, they have a great time, they go away, they write their review, or your system, if you're using a smart piece of software, contacts them after their visit and says, did you have a good time? Is there anything you want to say? And then that can be used in your social media feed. So you're kind of seeing that all of this is a symbiotic relationship. You can't just have one without having the rest. And in this day and age, you can't run an entertainment facility that doesn't have a social media presence and doesn't have a joined up thinking regarding its registration, private booking, party opportunities, discounted holiday season package. And all of that needs to be managed through a CRM system that includes e-payment.
Right. Yeah, I would definitely get one. Also, I like that if someone buys $20, you can give them $30 on their card, things like that. If they buy 50, you can give them 70. Because
it depends what state you're in, but you can also donate what's ever left on their cards to a charity, so you get a double bang.
Oh, that's cool. And yeah, New York, you can I still have a card in my wallet for me and my kid. It's got a few bucks on it. We can go back, load it back up, and keep going.
For a period of time. And if you look on the disclaimer on the card, and also on their website, the company, the issuer of the card will tell you what the duration is for those credits on that system to stay live.
Right. Now, with the being on your phone or whatever, is there a difference in the amount of money someone will spend if they just load up a card, or if every transaction has to be, scan their card?
We have lots of data across many international facilities, and it's difficult to nail down a hard and fast rule for each particular territory. But what we're seeing, and what you have on your mobile phone is really just the creation of a card, a physical card as a virtual app on your mobile phone. What we're seeing is those things get loaded up a little bit heavier because they're on a mobile phone, and because the individual doesn't he feels that it's attached to him more than a card that he's going to forget about in his jeans after he's visited the facility. But there's also another issue with that, is that there's points that are stacked and then retrieved off of those systems a lot quicker. Right. So we're in a kind of catch-22 here. I'm a big fan of what having access to Google Wallet and Apple Pay can offer a facility. We even have now entertainment facilities that are looking at cryptocurrency as a payments medium.
Right.
That is what we need to be aware of when we're talking about frictionless e-payment, that we offer the customer, our guest, the person who pays our wages, the easiest way in which they can pay for their play.
Right. I'm guessing that there's companies right now who do the load up the card, you get the card, as well as the mobile wallet.
There are many companies out there. I'm not going to name one individual, but there are at least 4 or 5 e-wallet, mobile phone loadable systems that are available out in our sector.
Okay, and you can probably just use a card in the facility too, like a real card?
There's one system now which I'm looking at, which is a 3-way. It's the card gets handed to you. You can snap it, and you've got a normal card, or you can snap it again, and then it turns into a wrist. You just turn it into a wrist bracelet, or you've taken the picture of the QR code, and now that app's on your mobile phone. So have it your way.
Cool. Yeah, have it your way, which makes it easiest for the customer, as you're saying.
Any client that comes to me and says we're doing it this way because I want to do it this way is telling me we're going to be having problems. It's we're doing it this way because this makes it easier for our guests, is what I should be hearing.
Perfect. You mentioned parties. Now, the facilities around me, half of them have a party room. The other ones don't. So, would you suggest maybe having a private party room in your facility is a good idea, or like
on calculation? This is pre-COVID, BC, before COVID, BC.
right?
We were seeing 40% of the revenue coming into our large facilities from private hire.
Okay.
So anyone that says to me we don't have a proper private hire or private party operation set up, I'm saying, well, if you fancy leaving 40% of your revenue on the table, I can't stop you.
40%. Okay. So the trampoline park near me has 3 rooms, but this arcade bowling place has no rooms, and I don't see private parties.
I bet if you go and speak to the management and say what you do for private hire, they have a part of their facility that they can wall off or table off, and that's usually where they stick the parties.
Gotcha. All right. So even though there might not be a section, yeah, they might do like 2 of the lanes. That's your private party area, and then the food's there. Yeah. Okay. I can see
we're seeing an explosion in private hire because people want to get together again. They haven't seen each other. They want to get family groups, friends groups together, and so they're using entertainment facilities as a place to socialize. Remember, we're in the social entertainment industry.
Right. Now, I don't want to go into this too much, but real quick, because most of the people who watch my channel we're mobile. We bring the party places. What are the sort of options that we could? This could be like a transition thing because we get old. We don't want to be putting up tents and doing bounce houses all the time. So I'm looking. My main thing is I'm looking to invest this money I'm making here into something where I don't have to do so much backbreaking labor. So maybe
that's the aim. Work smarter with what you collect.
Right. So maybe there's a way to transition to learn. Maybe we can do some mobile things, and then eventually have just a facility. What are some mobile aspects of this business?
Yeah, so I have to give an advisor here. I am actually consulting with a company that has developed a mobile virtual reality system, which is in a container.
Oh, I think I saw them at IAPA.
Yeah, it's gone gangbusters. Everybody wants it now because it's turned the wheels in many people's heads. Which is, if you've got a parking lot and you're still not quite sure about virtual reality, you drop this container there. It's self-contained, it's self-powered, and suddenly you've got an external entertainment attraction, which is adding secondary and tertiary revenue to your business. There has been the fantastic business in party rooms, traveling party rooms, the trailer games facilities. Park the trailer at the house of the kid, and you can have Xboxes and virtual reality and everything in a drivable trailer. I understand where all of that is coming from, and my involvement with immersive tech on their uncontained virtual reality container has built a lot on the experience that we've been researching from that sector. I would just say I'm a physical kind of guy more. I prefer to look at the facility business. So I see these containers actually as opening a door. They're kind of a test project. So you drop the container in, it makes fantastic money, and that tells you, right, we need to upgrade to a permanent installation.
Right. Or you don't have VR in your facility currently. You drop that out the front door.
And you go, hey, see, it doesn't do anything. Or you go, bloody hell, I've been missing out on an opportunity. Right. And I think it's going to be the latter rather than the former.
Oh, VR is huge. So when I went to APA recently, there was so much VR everywhere. It was insane. Like just seeing how pervasive it is. And it's not just the headset. It's what would you call it? Augmented reality, where you're throwing a ball at a screen and killing zombies and other like things where it's not.
Exactly. I call that immersive. So virtual reality is a box on your head,
right?
Fundamentally. Augmented is glasses that allow you to see the real world and superimpose graphics on. And then we have something called mixed reality, where you're mixing it up. You're using either projection mapping, or you're using projection on a surface and then tracking balls or players' objects. And then we have cross reality, where you're just merging all of this technology together into dedicated attractions. The MR systems, we saw a profusion at IALPA. Everybody wants to go into an enclosure and either throw balls at stuff or shoot screens or play golf against them. You're placing the individual into the game. And the nice thing about these immersive enclosure systems is that you don't have to put on a head-mounted display, you don't have to put on glasses. But it's still applying the same kind of immersive gameplay, placing the individual into the game space that we've seen with the head-mounted display systems, that we've seen with the augmented systems, and that we're going to be seeing with the new next-generation simulator systems, which were just making an appearance at this year's show.
Did you go to IAPA this year?
Sadly, I'm in investor mode. So the clients that I'm working with and the businesses that I'm working with are now that we're all free to meet, I have to do my dog and pony in front of investors. So I'm very lucky to have a group of individuals that collect information that shows that I can't attend. And we've just now started publishing the Stinger Report coverage of the show. And it's a record. Usually I get to do 4 features covering what we see at IALPA. This year it's 6.
Nice.
So there was a lot of good stuff there, as well as a lot of peripheral stuff. So not just the stuff we saw on the show floor, but also the stuff that is being engendered by the stuff on the show floor. For example, virtual reality, we've seen a lot of free roaming VR systems, and now we're seeing the opening of facilities that offer free roaming entertainment that are being dropped into shopping malls and being dropped into retail units. So a lot of positivity in the market at the moment. Some people call it the COVID bounce. I just like to say that after keeping people locked in doors for over 18 months, they really want to get back and enjoy themselves again.
Yeah. So that was my first time going to IAPA. I went because my friend is in the bounce house world. So we went to look at bounce houses, but then I walked around and I was like, holy, this is awesome.
Shame the outside exhibits weren't as large as they were on previous years.
No, there's a lot of manufacturers from overseas who I was hearing couldn't come. So that's why. But one of my most interesting things, once I started thinking about one of these centers, was there was a company that sells and makes a almost like a track zipline thing through. So if you got a trampoline park or a bounce house park or American Ninja Warrior kind of thing, you got all this unused real estate above you.
Yeah.
So they've come up with a system to make that real estate usable. It was really interesting.
Oh yeah, no, the zipline business is one level, and there's been a lot of people, but now there's the next generation, which is the interactive flying coasters, where they use your ceiling and they turn it into a giant shooting range. So you're sitting in the coaster with your laser gun going past physical targets, all taking place above the head of the audience that are down. So suddenly, you can maximize that real estate up in the ceiling a lot more. We've also got people that are using the real estate in the ceiling for drone racing. So, there's a lot of, and again, your audience will spot that I am not going for the passive experiences. When we say immersive entertainment, we're talking interactive. So if you can't generate a score, if you're not pulling the person into customizing the experience the way they want it, then really that's passive entertainment. And to be honest, you should not be considering passive entertainment unless you know that a specific part of your paying audience will pay premium to have that type of thing. So I'm not going to shoot you down if you want to have a 4D theater experience in your facility. I'm just going to say I would rather be focusing on a interactive 4D theater experience rather than a passive one.
Right, because when you go anywhere and you see people having fun with the thing, not just because of the thing, seems way more fun and everyone's way more into it.
The fundamental that most people in our sector forget is that this is a repeat visitation market. This isn't a theme park market. And that's the danger is that some people have been borrowing more information from the theme park approach to entertainment than from location-based entertainment. The theme park industry says, you come, you visit once, we give you a really good time, we'll never see you again. that used to be the traditional approach. Now they've changed a lot, and I'm paraphrasing. They have matured, and now they're trying to encourage people to come back again. But a theme park visit is an expensive undertaking. In the location-based entertainment, we should be appealing to our audience in our area, and we should be encouraging them to become part of the family, so they come back again and again, that they see new changes, that they see new developments. And that's the important thing to bear in mind. There should be change, flexibility, and customization in your facility.
Right. I like that. It's a repeat business. With the POS system and the card, you can see that this machine doesn't do good. Let's get rid of it. Let's put something else in. We'll see how that does. That'll get people to come back in. They like this game. They come back in. There's this silly little virtual roller coaster in my one that we keep going back for all the time because they keep adding new roller coaster things to it, and my girlfriend really likes it.
Yeah.
And so they're aiming for that repeat thing. It's Rabbids. It's fun. It's cool. I saw them at
Virtual Rabbids is one. We have King Kong Skull Island. We have Storm from Triotech, and again, the original Rabbids. Virtual Rabbids ride, the big ride, was a passive ride. You just sat there and you saw the action happening, and then the company added interactivity. All of the competitive VR two-seater ride experiences now have all added interactivity into. They all have a scoring capability. They're tracking the player's hands in the virtual world, so you're grabbing things or you're shooting things using where you're looking. So it's that interactivity into a proven 2D, 4D experience in virtual reality that is a draw. And having the next piece of software. So Storm has now just launched their Sugar Rush experience, which again is aimed for a younger audience, but also incorporates the scoring element. And our friends at LAI have got the new version of Virtual Rabbids, the latest software update, the same way that Raw Thrills has developed 3 more chapters for their King Kong Skull Island VR experience, all using the same kind of format, but all offering at least an upgrade path of content.
Right. So this business is not static.
Shouldn't be. People who say, all right, we're going to buy this facility, we're going to put these products in, we won't change anything for 8, 9, 20 months, they are tying an albatross around their neck that they're going to regret.
Okay. Got to come in with flexibility. So
you should be thinking of the second update when you're building your first update.
Really? Okay. So I think that about wraps it up. Any closing statements you want to give to people who are like me, who just don't know what we're doing yet?
Well, we're all not,
right.
The most perfect man got nailed to a cross. We're all here learning, and that's part of the reason why I don't call myself an expert. I'm a specialist. I'm constantly learning. That's what my parents encouraged me to do, and I encourage everyone, get as much research as possible. Go onto the websites. There are a couple of really good FEC Facebook forums that they can join. There's also the Stinger Report. Please go to thestingerreport.com and sign up for a subscription to that. We'll try and get you any information, and my email's on there. So if you have a specific question, we can help you with research, competitive evaluation, finding help. Those are the 3 things I'd advise at the moment.
All right, sounds great. And I will put the link to the Stinger Report down in the description. And I made one of these FEC Facebook groups. It's not big yet. It's only got a few people, but I'm trying to make it the biggest one out there.
Good.
So I'll put that link in the description as well. And Kevin, I thank you for your time and all your help.
My pleasure. And to everyone out there, more power. Let's get it happening.
Thank you. Everyone have a good day.